everyone, thanks for joining me. My name's Emily. I'm with myclosetrocks.com where we sell pre-authenticated designer fashion. Okay, so I had something a little bit crazy happen to me. I purchased a Chanel classic flap on bagbar.steal.com and unfortunately it is a counterfeit bag. I want to tell you how I figured this out and how you can too to protect yourself on the pre-owned luxury market. It actually has worked out perfectly. I have two classic flaps here that are the same style, and one is fake and one is authentic. So I'm gonna share a couple quick checkpoints you can look at in your bag to see if it is real or fake. Of course, always get it professionally authenticated. This video is not a substitute for that. Companies I trust and recommend are linked in the description. If you haven't been able to tell already, this bag right here is counterfeit and this one is authentic. Now, when I first got this bag, I was like, oh, I kind of like this matte leather look. I was like, maybe newer models of the Chanel classic flap possibly have a more of a matte sheen to it. But it's also what tipped me off, where I was like, this looks weird. This bag is stiff, it's matte, and it has a very specific chemically smell that normal Chanel bags do not have. And I know I sound crazy, but you really can smell a difference in counterfeit and authentic bags. I'm gonna go over quite a few checkpoints for the Chanel classic flap in order to verify authenticity. I have linked the blog post below, which will include some really great close-up photos and descriptions. Before I get started, I would like to say working with Bagbar or Steal to get this bag back to them has been very seamless and easy, and I know they take authenticity very seriously, so I definitely know that mistakes can be made. This happens with the RealReal, it happens with these huge companies. So that's why it's important to protect yourself and make sure you advocate, because sometimes they're not gonna even consider your case if too much time has passed. So make sure you really pay attention and get everything double authenticated, especially if it's a high value bag. All right, so let me just show you really quick what this authentic bag looks like. The leather has a slight sheen. It is pebbled because it is caviar. And here's just what it looks like. Absolutely beautiful. This one is the counterfeit bag. And so you can see there is less shine on that caviar leather. And just feeling these two bags, this authentic one has a little bit more flexibility. It's a little softer, whereas this is a very stiff leather. The pebbling should be very pronounced, and it also should kind of show like a midnight blue if you look really closely. All right, let's look at the stitching on these two bags and compare them. On the fake bag, you're gonna see the thread that is used for the bag stitching is not consistent with Chanel standards, and there are many stitching errors that are throughout the bag. Sometimes there's a little double stitch that they miss, and the thread just looks slightly thicker. And if we look at the stitching under the flap, the incorrect color of thread is used for the stitching. The fake one is too light, where the authentic one is slightly darker and matches that burgundy color better. It's also important to note that Chanel's interiors are made of, I believe, exclusively lambskin, where the fake one is calfskin. Let's look at the CCs on the bag. The CC motif is not in the correct position. It is also the wrong size, and it is not the correct curvature that it should have. Next, let's look at the interior brand stamp. It is a little bit off in terms of font and sizing. Looking at the screws underneath the flap where the CC is, you're gonna wanna make sure that the screw has one line indent and not a Phillips head screw, and that the Chanel engraving isn't too bubbly or unclear. If we look at the stitched CCs in the burgundy interior, you're gonna notice on the fake one, the snap closure is a little bit too far from those CCs. And there are a lot of inconsistencies in the stitching throughout that CC emblem. Even just looking at the puffiness of the quilting is a big red flag. The specific type of foam or material that they used for this fake bag makes the puffiness slightly less raised. You'll also see a difference in shape on the sides of the bag. They aren't exactly the same size, and the stitching is not correct. Also, a quick note on the quilting on the back pocket leather. Make sure that the quilted pattern continues seamlessly from the pocket to the rest of the bag. Okay, so let's look at the serial number or the hologram that is inside these bags. These bags were made before Chanel started doing chipped items. The hologram sticker for series 29 or 2019 should not have vertical cuts. This type of cut is exclusive to series 21 through 24. Also, the font, glitter specs, color, and position is also incorrect. When we look at the interior brand stamp, which is a silver Chanel made in Italy, there are a couple discrepancies between the two. And one thing is the hue and the font do not match the authentic Chanel stamping. The snap button should be raised with sharper edges rather than rounded ones. This is to make sure the flap stays shut well. And another place to look at hardware, which I've never really considered, is behind this little turn clasp. You can take a look at the hardware behind that. The fake one is far more angular than the authentic one. It's just kind of a random little piece of hardware to take a look at. It also helps authenticators when you send photos of your bag for them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this helped you learn a little bit more about Chanel authenticity and the quality of the bags. Use the link below to take a look at the blog, which has a little bit better descriptions, photos, and things like that. And I really appreciate you being here and spending this time with me. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and click that like if you did enjoy this video. Thanks again.